Hey guys, what's going on? TripletheTDog here, and well, we finally hit the big 100 followers on Twitch, and I said that before that I wasn't gonna make a video, but we are really close to 100 subscribers on YouTube, so I was like, well, now that we're close or we're about to hit it, what will I do for a video? And I thought to myself, there's so many things I could do. Not sure what there's going to be. I think I can use that. See, there's a little picture there. We hit 100, which is a pretty awesome thing. I've already done my 12-hour. I didn't do anything special. Like, we just played through one of the fear games and a quarter of the second one on a hard difficulty. It was tough, but we got through it. My only problem was it was hot as balls in my room. Like, it is bad. Like, it gets hot with all the tech in my like office little room area that I do things in. But I was thinking, well, what could I do for a video that for 100? I mean, it's not a huge number compared to a lot of other YouTubers out there, and it's so small, but it's still like a huge thing to me. Like, every subscriber is a big deal to me. Like, holy shit. So, I mean, I could do some draw my life, kind of thing or stuff like that, but I can't do the whole time lapsing thing because I'm not good at that, and I don't have a camera to draw, and I can't draw in paint. All right, I'm terrible at that too. Like, I tried making a draw my life video a long time ago, just for the occasion, and first I didn't like it because of the microphone. I didn't like my old mic, and then second, it's I can't draw, and then the what I was saying in the pictures just didn't line up very well. The timing was really off, and it just did not work. So I'm thinking for now we'll just do it the basic way, and I will just do a bit of a story time here with you about who the guy is behind all this, video nonsense. Because for the last 3 years or so of me doing YouTube, not fantastically, of course, but trying to get better every day, trying to improve something, and just wanting to do better than what I'm currently doing, but still being myself and not changing who I am. Of course, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to change to please people, and I never will. I will be who I am. If people like that, they like that. If they don't, they don't. Now, I may stumble. I may have issues speaking on some of this stuff. I'm not going to go too crazy into it. Don't think of it as a sob story. I don't want you guys to feel bad for me or anything like that. It's an honest what I've done, like, through from before to now, just a general who I am, because for the last 3 years, like I said, I've been just this guy doing videos, and it's like who the fuck are you? Like, we don't know what you look like, and I get that, and I don't want to show myself because my stuff is more focused on games than who I am, and just commentary. It's more about personality. I like personality more than looks, so that's what I do with my games and how I do it. I don't show a face. I don't think it's all about me. I think it's all about the game and the entertainment. It's just how I've been. I mean, I don't like that. I'm sorry. If you like faces everywhere and face cams, you have to find somebody else for that stuff. That's how I do it on Twitch, how I do it on YouTube, and that's how I'm going to stick that way. Unless for some reason I do put a face on, that won't be for the long time. And then even then, it's not going to be a main focus. It's not going to be a thing, blah, blah, blah. Now, like I was going to say, I may stumble, I may have issues, because I don't write any of this stuff out. I don't read through it. I don't have a list anywhere that says what I'll go through. I'm going to have this completely unedited, and I may just be like, because I have to remember some stuff about my past, that some parts are a bit fuzzy, some parts stick with me, and some parts are never going to leave my memory at all. Some parts, but like I said, it's not a sob story. It's not even like that amazing of a story. It's nothing fantastic, and it's nothing for you to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I feel super bad for you, and all that. It's, you don't have to feel pity. You don't need any of that. I mean, if you care, you care. If you don't, you don't. You don't have to watch the video, so that's why I'm saying it now. You can leave. You don't have to continue watching if you don't want to know any more about me than I've already spoken. So, I guess with that, I just start now, I guess. Let's see. Where do I want to begin? Back when I started gaming, back in 1995, I guess I should say. I'm about 20 now, so when I started this 3 years ago, 2019, 18, 17. Yeah, I was 17 when I started it. And a lot of people were like, "What the fuck? You don't sound it. You don't sound that well." I mean, I guess I'm lucky. I don't sound like I do. I sound older. I don't know. I don't hear it, but whatever. I started not exactly at 1995 when I started gaming, but I meant to say is like around 1997, 1998, I guess. I don't know. When I hit 3 or 4, I started understanding like back with the N64. Um, I always wanted to play. I wanted to hold the controller, be the guys up on the screen. My older brother would do stuff like hide the. He would pretend to plug the system in, but being as young as I was, I'm not very smart. I didn't know. I just saw the guy moving as I was doing it, and so on. Eventually, around the age of 5 or 6, that I finally figured out. Wait a minute. I'm not controlling the guys on the screen. None of them are doing what I'm doing. Eventually, I plugged it in, and it turns out I wasn't half bad at games. I had a temper at games because I was easily tricked. I didn't understand a lot of stuff. I still wasn't that smart. Now, here and there, I'll have a temper, but I'm not as bad as I used to be by any means anymore. I've learned to just say, fuck it, it's a game. I have no reason to be mad. I just don't care. I suck. I suck. I don't. I just give up at that. I'm not trying to be best. When you're little or when you're younger, you want to be the greatest and all that. Now I kind of just content to be whatever my level is what I'm at. I can get better. I can get better. But I started playing. I remember playing the N64. The Smash Bros. The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. I didn't beat Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask until recent on the YouTube channel. I actually got real far, but I never got to beat it from myself, from start to finish. I always had a lot of help when I was doing it, when I was younger, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was not a smart guy. I still am not a smart guy. And so I didn't know what I was doing. I played GoldenEye, 007, and, some other games that can't remember off the top of my head. I still played the original Nintendo as well, like Super Mario Bros. 3. I think it was like Ghouls and Goblins was another game I think I played. I can't remember. That game was awesome. I liked it. The old Mega Man games I think were around. I can't remember. I remember Mega Man being a part of there. I played a lot of that. Of Mario Kart for the N64. Mario Party. I used to play with my brother's friends. We used to play a lot of Mario Party games, like a lot, like different, just random nights when I, didn't have school, and I even stayed up. Like my parents were very, not that strict about that stuff. Like they didn't care as long as I went to sleep and I got up in the morning. If I'm tired, that's all. It's my fault. It's always been that way. If you do this and you're gonna do, and you have problems with it, and you're paying for the consequences. You did it. You're gonna deal with it. This was your choice. It's just how it's always been. So I kind of grew up saying, okay, if I'm gonna do this and I hate it afterwards, that is no one's fault but my own. And I just remember playing a lot of Mario Party. I always used to get so pissed because it felt like I was always picked on. But the game is just the game liked to fuck me over a lot. I'll say that. And even this day, I still wish I could play more Mario Party. I want to, have friends over and play it, do like a recording. But that's kind of hard to do because none of my friends are very, they're very busy. And that also involves coming to where I am, which is not that far, but because of our time schedules, it's really hard to do. And it's a bad times. So it kind of sucks. But I remember that days. I remember the PlayStation, like, as time went on, playing the PlayStation, playing. I think when the PlayStation, I remember the biggest game of all, and I always say when somebody asks me what is one of my favorite games, the childhood game was Resident Evil 2. Now, when I was younger, zombies scared the shit out of me. I was that kind of guy or kid. I was a bitch, and I didn't like zombies. I had to play the games muted for a while when they had zombies. And when I look back at that, all I could do was laugh. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Now I can play it full blown loud, and I really don't care. As long as the neighbors don't get pissed. But I love, playing Resident Evil 2 and revisiting. It's like one of the games that I loved. I also like playing Resident Evil 3. But the third Resident Evil, I never got to play until GameCube, and it took a while for Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. That was a fun game as well. And, so on as they kept up. Then when Resident Evil 4 was for the PlayStation 2 and GameCube eventually, as the systems progressed, I just remember playing a lot of those types of games, Resident Evil, stuff like that. And I really got into Code Veronica. That one was not really one I cared too much about, though it was probably still a good game. I just never got far into it to really have an opinion on it, so I can't say anything on that matter. But, I was always just gaming whenever we had the money and a new system. The one system I never got to play a lot of games on was the original Xbox, so I did miss out for the time being. The first Halo and all the Halos that came, the Halos. I think my father had a friend that had an Xbox that we borrowed for a time being, and I did experience Halo's, Combat Evolved, and I thought it was awesome. But then the Xbox, I remember disappearing because my dad's friend had to take it back. So I was like, oh, that sucks. It was kind of depressing, stuff like that. But I remember playing it, but I never owned it, so I never got to play a lot of any of the originals that came out. Um, but then the 360 came out. It took me a really long time to get a PlayStation 3. Like I don't care about like console this. I think it's stupid when people complain. You just play the game that has good exclusives, what you find fun. I just hate the whole war stuff, but whatever. I'm a variety guy. I'll play whatever. I don't care if it's fun to me. It's fun. I just don't care. People are just dumb, and they have to make a big deal out of this stuff. But I just remember the 360 wasn't even planned. It wasn't even like a system that I first saw. It was like, oh my god, I want it, because I only saw very small commercials about it because I didn't watch a whole lot of TV sometimes, and I didn't really care too much. Like it was still like, oh, a new system. I can't wait to see what comes out with it. And when I got it, it was a huge surprise and stuff like that. And then I didn't get the Xbox One. I haven't gotten the PlayStation 4 to this day. I haven't got them. Still had the money. It's budget. Like I got the PC. That took forever to get. It's like when I started 3 years ago, I was like, oh, don't worry, one day we'll get it and we'll have everything. It took 3 or so years to almost 4 to get this PC to start doing what I'm doing now continuously. But yeah, that's been like my gaming timeline. My favorite, of course, like everyone will say, N64 is the favorite. But like, I love the games and playing with my brother's friends and my friends and stuff like that. But my favorite was playing Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation, and playing Resident Evil 4. Like I was just a big shooter guy kind of thing, and GoldenEye was awesome too. I loved that. But let's see. Then when school started, kindergarten, first grade, second grade. I wasn't the brightest kid in the school. Apparently, according to the doctor, and I'm a bit slow, so I never got things as quick as other students. I didn't understand as well. It was very hard to comprehend, and that's where my temper came in. When I couldn't comprehend something, my first instinct was to get frustrated and mad. For some reason, video games, even at a young age, just flowed perfectly. But then you give me math and everything else, and I couldn't do it for shit. Even to this day, my English handwriting skill is shit, and my math is terrible. I've proved it, I think, multiple times. I think, at least in some old videos, I probably had to do math and just said fuck it, because I can't do it. Because I remember second grade is when we started to learn multiplication, and it was horrible. I didn't understand it at the time. I was so slow. I had a lot of extra help. They had a lot of programs to help me, which was nice. But of course, going through kindergarten to second grade to third and all that, um, pretty much almost all the way to sixth grade, no one gave a shit about what you did. Kind of people stayed out of your way or they wanted to be your friend, you know? A lot of people didn't really give a fuck. You know, like during my school year at least, like when I was growing up, with my school, um, as we went on, nobody seemed to have bother you. There wasn't as much like bullying and shit. It's like right when you hit middle school and then high school is when, you know, shit got really bad and it got horrible for me. Well, not like for me, but you would notice it a lot more scummy, scumbaggish people, and it just sucked. Middle school started for me with sixth grade. I walked in, you know, of course I didn't like it at first because it's a different school. Because beforehand we weren't in middle school. Now we're here. I never liked going into new places. Just especially being young, I didn't like new places because I didn't know where the fuck to go. I was like, I never wanted to be the one to screw up or fail, so I never wanted to be the guy that walked into the wrong class and be like, I don't know where I'm going. So, sixth, seventh, uh, I think sixth and seventh, no, sixth and seventh were a little bit of annoying years. Um, when we were at my final year, it didn't bother me too much for middle school. Sixth and seventh, I didn't. I had some hard times with homework. Um, you know, I was not very good. But besides that point, middle school, and every time someone asked me about like my relationship past, I never technically dated anyone. Middle school was just full of some terms called floozies, whores, bitches. I don't know. Um, Everybody was just kind of pulling heartstrings around to try to get you to do this, to help you with that. And, you know, I was at the time a bit gullible, because being in middle school and I didn't understand. I just thought, oh, the person liked me, that's awesome. Then turned around and gave you the cold shoulder and tell you to fuck off. So that was kind of annoying. In eighth grade, I wised up a bit to not deal with that. Going into high school, thank God though, because in third grade I did meet a friend, friend of mine. I keep everything unnamed because I just don't want to get too into it crazy, and or don't want their names to be up. In third grade, met a guy, it's pretty cool, and then we were friends since third grade till now. We don't talk on a regular basis like we used to. We're not like super close, but at time to time we'll talk. We had the same sense of humor. We found the same stuff funny. He helped me a lot through the school, helped me with a lot of my work too, because he was very generous to help me with the work. Um, Even if he didn't really help as much, like in some parts, he did help me copy, and that's not great, but he did help at time to time really a lot. And who knows if how well I would have done in school, like if I didn't have the help. But I think in sixth or seventh grade, I met my other friend during like a math, like we had like a math lab class, which was kind of like an extra math class to help you if you're struggling, and I needed that. I met him only because I thought the pen he had was super cool and I wanted it. And eventually we started talking. Then, of course, we talked too much in class. Weren't allowed to sit next to each other. Same thing happened with my third grade friend. So, of course, not allowed to talk while in class. What was it? I think seventh grade? I think seventh grade is when I met my other friend. I'm bad at remembering off the top of my head at the moment. If I had to say the teachers' names and talk to my friend, I'd remember. But the seventh grade, I think it was when I met my other friend, which you guys, I think was Basting Fluke or John. That one we all know because he's been in my videos. Um, he and I met because we had assigned seats for math eventually because nobody could ever sit next to each other without a lot of talking, and the teacher, had to put some kind of calm and quiet to the class. We sat next to each other. Funny enough, I argued because all through kindergarten to seventh grade, I've never seen the name John spelled out without an H. I argued with him that his name was spelled wrong on his paper. I shit you not. I tried to argue with someone that their name that they were born with spelled wrong. Like I said, I'm not the brightest guy, especially at those days. I was a dumbass. But apparently that sparked a friendship eventually because I was just now I bring it up at time to time, be like, remember when I argued with your name, like you're like just when I look back, I'm like, God damn it, facepalm, you're an idiot. Why? Come on. Eighth grade, I don't think I had a lot of like friend type people. Like there were people that were nice, they talked to me and helped, but I didn't have like friends like them. They were I hang out before, and sometimes after school when we weren't busy. Then when high school hit, um, I did have to deal with some asshole people time to time, but sometimes you have to. Scummish dirtbag of the people that don't want to be in school, think they're hip and gangsta and shit, and they're just dumb, just acting like an idiot. Sorry, but when you think you're cool because you're missing a bunch of days. Now let me tell you, I was not the most there person in school. My senior year, I missed about 20 or so. I don't know. It's got to be like 20 days plus. But that I'll get into the reason why and how I still passed. But freshman and sophomore year, I had to deal with some annoying people, especially the seniors, because they're all that kind of people. When I grew up with, or the ones that were in that class, they were kind of like the all we're the best and all that. You're a freshman, you're a sophomore, you're shit. It's like I don't fucking care. I was the guy that kept my head down and just wanted to move on through. But it was hard to deal with school because right when high school kind of started, there was a lot of personal problems going on at the time. During one of the times when I did start YouTube, which I'll get into how I started YouTube and why. But when I was doing YouTube, I had to take a really long break. I it took me and I had to move because of financial issues, family, a lot of financial problems kept coming up. It sucked, um, and all that. But junior year, junior year was a little different. Um, I mainly lived with my father through most of my school. I think towards the end of junior year, where we still had school left, I had to move to live with my mother for the time being because now here's the fun part. I think it was around junior year, if not a little bit earlier in junior year. My father was diagnosed with cancer, some sort of intestinal cancer, but at the time we didn't think it was not bad. Like the way they diagnosed, it's treatable. You'll be fine. Just go through all the stuff. You'll be good. But my dad did need surgery because there was some tumors or something. It's very vague. At the time, I was still dealing with school. There's still a lot of stuff that wasn't told to me because a lot of people kept it away from me. Like I knew it was happening, but like medically was kept away from me. Like they didn't tell me the severe or anything. But at the time, we all knew it was fine. Like okay, yeah, that's really bad. He's got cancer. That sucks. You don't want that on anyone in your family ever. And of course, scared, stressed because my father's in the hospital now, and you know what the fuck you're doing. And the landlord comes up and says, "Well, I'm sorry, but because of the financial issues, my father had to take time off from work, so of course there wasn't much money coming in. Um, we got kicked, we got evicted or whatever. Here's your papers, need you out by this." So here I am, like, well, fuck, I'm still in school, and my mom doesn't live in the area. Well, luckily there was someone that could help. I hung out with my mom for most of the time. Then I had to go somewhere else that was still in the district, so I could stay there for the time being, just to finish up junior year. Um, Senior year, I still had to do the same stuff. My dad stayed with his sister. His sister was like a nurse, so anything he needed while he dealt with his chemo, which was rough. Senior year started. Eventually, we had the money. We moved into a place in the district to where we are now. Um, then I went back to live with my father. All's good stuff. But as senior year was going on, the first half or like most of the senior year flew by. It was fine. Um, but towards the end, it got a little stressful. And like I said, I did miss a lot of days because the cancer stuff was arising again, and my dad was doing more chemo. We thought it was eventually done. Like, they were saying, oh, he shouldn't be much longer. A lot of all the symptoms are going away. There's no, tumor or anything like that popping up. Eventually, stuff popped up again. The chemo, I had to stay home a lot of the times. I even talked to the principal, and they helped me out. I had to stay home. I made sure to get my work done, but I stayed home a lot to help him, help my father. So that was the senior year is why I missed like 20 to 30 or so days. I don't know. I missed a lot. And I even got a lot of papers saying you missed this and you're going to be in trouble this. But eventually I kept my work up, which was the good thing. I kept it up, kept doing it, and so on. I think it was like after I graduated, senior year, just about, I want to say, because I don't know how long it was, because I don't remember the exact day, but around, I want to say it was like a year or so, because I graduated in 13, so 14, the symptoms for my father were getting shittier. He was having a hard time sleeping. His appetite was losing it. And at the time, way before this, right before we got evicted, we just thought it was constipation, mind you. Like this was, and we thought it was colon problems. And that's what, I think it was originally thought it was colon cancer or something. But he was constipated. We thought, oh no, constipation, that sucks. During the time that my dad was having these issues, the cat I grew up with for the longest time passed away because of liver or something. There was a liver failure, a kidney failure. I get them mixed up badly, and I hate that. One of them failed, and he ended up dying. We had to put him down because we didn't want him in pain anymore. That sucked. It was really emotional. Then my dad got bad, and it just kept, you're like, what the fuck? Everything's stacking up on you, And you're still going to school. There's so much emotion, like, what the hell? Everything is just piling on and on and on. And you're like, I don't know what to do, Your father's dealing with cancer and your cat's gone. You're like, you're alone. Feel like it anyway. But, like I said, my father was getting worse after a year. And apparently it spread to his intestines. As like I said, it was like an intestinal thing. It was like some rare strain of it or something. I don't have the medical mumbo jumbo to it or how it worked. But his appetite decreased. He could not sleep correctly. He was in pain. And, granted, my father was 49 and a big muscle guy. He was a bodybuilder type dude. He used to do the weightlifting stuff all the time, so he was a strong motherfucker. Built like a tank, and he was in the military. He used to, he trained in the military and stuff like that. And so even though he was in, apparently people told me, like, when I got it, after all the stuff, he was in severe pain. But this motherfucker, my dad, he didn't show shit. You would have thought he was fine. You look like you could go for a jog. You only knew that something was off because, the muscles and everything were depleting. Like, the muscle, like, stuff, like his bones. Things were just, he looked weaker. And you could see it in his face, his body, his color. He wasn't sleeping good. And, so eventually, he had medicine. Didn't want to take the pain meds because apparently that relaxed him, made him tired, gave him weird dreams. He didn't want it. Plus, he went to the bathroom. He ended up peeing blood, but that wasn't the cause of the medicine or any of that. Apparently, he had a tumor that made his gut stick out. The size of almost his stomach, or something like that. I don't know, like tumors, and they broke. And so that's what that was, but nobody knew until after what happened. Nobody really told me anything. Um, but around the and then he eventually, what was it? His liver or his kidneys? I think it was his liver. Whatever is the one that stops the toxins was not functioning correctly, as though the toxins would get to his head or something. So he started not to think clearly, and things weren't going right. Um, Days he'd come into my room saying, "Let's get ready for school." I had to watch him to make sure he didn't go down the stairs or try to get in the car because he was, trapped in his body, so to speak, with his mind. Not he can't control his own mind. So of course that's really creepy and scary to think about. So eventually we brought him to a hospital. He went. It took him a day, but they got him to hospice care because apparently the whole beds were fucking packed or something. I don't know. It was stupid, but eventually he got to hospice care. And the day before his 50th birthday, he passed away. Like I said, it's gonna be hard to talk about because it's not something I talk about often. But where do I continue here? It wasn't easy. It was rough, and you're like, well, shit. I had to listen. I thought I heard something at the door. Um, it was just terrible, terrible thing that happened, and I didn't know how to react. Like, what the fuck? What was I gonna do? But lucky for I didn't have to move or anything. My mom ended up helping moving in to pay and help with the house because without that, I would have probably had to move to another strange place or another new place. That's not something I would have wanted. Um, so keep clicking around just to make sure my stuff is still recording. But after that, it kind of sucked, and so on. We did all the stuff and so on. It was depressing. I was sort of glad it happened after school was done, but at the same time, of course, you don't want it to happen. So that's what happened. So when I don't talk too much about my father, that's pretty much the reason why. Is because I just don't like to get it. Like I'll still say things about, oh, my father did this and blah blah blah, and because I try to keep it normal. I don't want to make it weird. That you know all that. I just don't like to talk about what happened. It's kind of stupid. But 3 years prior to all this, I started YouTube. And let me tell you, I didn't know what the fuck YouTube was. Like, I used it for music, like everybody else did in the past. Now it's kind of evolved into this gaming thing, as well as music and entertainment and hilarious stuff. I used to just use it to find, music videos, lyrics, and shit like that. And at the time, I still didn't know what YouTube was. I was just kind of Googling this, and then it gave me a video, and I found it. Didn't even realize I was on YouTube. Eventually, I made an account, and my friend posted a video somewhere, like to share it, and it was a Happy Wheels video or something like that. I always ignored a lot of the stuff he posted because it used to just be parodies of songs and stuff. And I didn't care too much about the parody songs and stuff like that. But this one wasn't a parody song. It was just called Happy Wheels, blah blah blah. And I was like, the hell is this? I clicked on it, and I thought it was the funniest shit I've ever watched. And I was like, this was better than anything I've watched on TV that was comedy. And I thought it was hilarious, and I eventually made an account to do subscriptions so I could subscribe to people, so I knew when videos went out, stuff like that. The Happy Wheels video was made by Uber Hacks or Nova, the creatures. I thought was, at the time I didn't even know what the hell the creatures anybody was. I just was just watching. I didn't care. I just thought that stuff was hilarious, and then now I've evolved to watching many other YouTubers, of course, and then now moved to Twitch to watch streamers and do streaming. But when I saw that, I was like, man, in my mind, I was like, I could do that too. I didn't want to do it for popularity or anything because I didn't even know if he was that popular. Like at the time, I didn't understand YouTube, the subs and all that. I was just like, I could do that. I thought I could probably do that. I didn't have the computer that was good enough or the recording stuff to do it properly. But I still tried and made happy with videos that I did in the past and all that such. Of course, they weren't very good, but I kept trying to make things better and better as time moved on to what I'm at now. I'll never think I'm a caliber of his their guys is funny and stuff like that. And I never, like I said, did it for popularity reasons. I just did it because, to have people experience what you see and people to watch what you do, but for other people to enjoy it with you kind of thing. That's why I like doing Twitch and streaming is the social interaction of chat and having people experience what you do and what happens and shit like that with you. And I always thought that was awesome, building like a community and stuff like that. I always just thought that's such an awesome thing. And a lot of people try to get in it for the money because it's easy money, and I'm like, I don't fucking care. I don't even monetize anything. I don't think it's all about the money. And if this somehow did become a job, awesome. But it's not even. That's never a thing I go into thinking. I just go into this thinking, I want to have videos up that are people want to see, or just I want them up because you can experience something I went through. And yes, I mainly just started doing that. Eventually, I didn't have a good PC, but then Yu-Gi-Oh! I started that when I figured out how to do all that stuff, and eventually that became such a big thing. It was getting a lot of views, so that's where the Yu-Gi-Oh! Just kind of took off of me. Kept doing it. I tried Pokemon, but then I had some issues trying again, and I couldn't get into it. It's hard to play Pokemon on the computer when it's easy to grind up the game when you're out traveling on your handheld. So I didn't have a lot of time. Sapphire I was going to get through, but I eventually had to move PCs and I didn't bring the save with. So I had to start over, and I was like, fuck that. We're done with the Pokemon shit. That's what happened. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! Had to do the same thing. I had to start over. But I was like, well, what am I going to do? Just start over? I mean, I could barely build a deck, and I was losing nonstop. Eventually, I was getting better, but I didn't improve much. I wasn't that pro, and I still got my shit kicked in. It took me until the finale to get to Raw Yellow. Funny enough, I was terrible. But yeah, I started doing that, and to this day, I still just try to be myself, have fun, and build a community and stuff like that, from YouTube to Twitch. I think I learned about Twitch about two to a year ago. Yeah, it's got to be 2 years now. 2 years ago to almost three. I didn't start until like a year after I watched it. I tried doing a little bit, but at the time I just didn't have the internet or the computer. Then I still didn't really have the computer, but I still tried. And not until like a couple months back have I really started to try to do it seriously, like on a schedule, and try to do it as much as I can. And just grind up on Twitch of having people watch and have fun and enjoy what you're doing and all that stuff. But yeah, that's been just about the gist of it. So to this day, I still play whatever. I play a lot of variety of stuff that I can. I just like to have fun. I still Twitch stream on Twitch, and so on. And to this day, what happened sucked. I don't like talking about my school life because it's boring slash shitty because people are scumbags that I grew up with. Like, especially the females that pull heartstrings to get what they want. Like, I want answer to a test, or you'll show likeness just to get bullshit. It was stupid. And middle school was my shitty year, so I guess that's because of middle school and high schoolish. The start of high school kind of was the same. I became more of a paranoid and more person where it's like, okay, I think this person's just bullshitting me. So of course I won't go directly towards something. I'm kind of iffy and paranoia with that. Like, I don't know. I'm not as gullible as I was. I'm more, cautious about the stuff. But that's about it. I think I got everything I needed. Again, like I said, talking about my father and stuff like that, I know my voice is kind of breaking up a bit. It is a little bit of a hard thing. I haven't really talked about it too much since it happened. Like I said, it's not a sob story. I don't need you to feel bad. I don't have to feel shitty about what happened. My life is just what happened. You gotta go on with it. There is still a chance that what happened with him could have been generic, and I'll have to watch out for it myself in the future. But when that time comes, and we'll just have to deal with it. But thank you, people who sat by and watched. I didn't mean for this to go on for 40 minutes or so. And yeah, I mean, it's not like to a lot of people. It's like, oh, there's gonna be the people that are gonna be heartless. There's gonna be people who are gonna be very heartfelt about what happened. Appreciate anyone who cares. And if you don't, you don't. I'm not making you have to care. If you don't, you know, like I said, it's not the saddest story. It's not the happiest story. And there's no happy ever after. It's just we're going to continue on and keep going and just see what happens down the road. There's no finish to the story yet. The story will not end. This is just another chapter in this book of life, my friend. But for now, we're just going to just hope for the best now and just keep on moving, making videos, making people have fun. And, the more people that want to subscribe, they can. If they don't want to subscribe, I'm not forcing anyone. But anyway, thank you anyone who sat by and just wanted to listen about it, learn about who this YouTube/streamer is and who the fuck is he, who is TripletheTDog, and if you're curious why this is my name, I thought about it. There was two reasons. One, I like 3Dog from Fallout 3, but I didn't want to make a name that was like 3Dog, and I didn't want to be it. So I thought TripletheTDog, that's 3 T's, so that's why TripleTDog works as well. It just worked out in a sense like that. It just made sense to me. It might have been stupid, but I own up to my own name now. I'm just sticking with it. I'm not going to just say, oh, I didn't like it, change it, alright? I liked it, keeping it that way, having this name for years now. But anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out, listening to my story. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much, but there wasn't, like I said, I'm not the most exciting person. I didn't have a whole lot. If there's stuff you want to know more about that isn't too personal that I want to get into, that I can get into, I can answer in the comments, and so on. Or if you want to ask me during a Twitch stream, free to ask whatever. But if it's too personal, I will not answer. I will just comply. I'll be nice enough to say, oh, yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I'm not going to give out any more information, like of where I graduated or where and all that, my name and all that. I don't give all that. That's, I like Triple as my name. I kind of want to keep that as the way it is. That's what people call me. Hell, that's what even my friends now call me. I don't use my first name anymore. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I didn't bore you too much. But I thought since we hit 100, I did my 12-hour. I thought I'd do something for YouTube. And so this was my story so far. But there you go. This was Who is TripletheTDog. So thank you so much for watching. And I will see you guys in whatever the hell next video that comes out. Because more than likely I already have recorded stuff about to go up at some other point. Thank you.